Welcome back to Newish, a video PD series on how to teach newcomer students in your classroom. They may be new to us, but they are not new to learning. Episode 3 is about creating a caring culture in your school or district. In today's episode, I'll explain the importance of a caring culture for immigrant students. We'll restate the 4 things ELs must hear and identify the key elements of a classroom contract. Constructing a culture of care will help welcome newcomers to their new environment and ease the disorientation of being immersed in an unfamiliar culture, way of life, and set of attitudes. Not only is the language new for students, but the school environment, the neighborhood, the foods, the people can be overwhelming. We want to create a caring and calming environment where students not only feel safe, but they can also learn. Here are 5 essential elements of cultural proficiency. Assess culture. Identify the cultural groups present in your classroom. Value diversity. Develop an appreciation for the differences among and between groups. Manage the dynamics of difference. Learn to respond appropriately to the issues that arise in a diverse environment. Adapt to diversity. Change and adopt new policies and practices that support diversity and inclusion. Institutionalize cultural knowledge, drive the changes in the system, and help establish the new status quo. This is where we all want to be at in our journey to cultural proficiency. This is our end goal. This is what it could sound like. With the addition of blank, our classroom experience has become richer. I'm so excited to have that new student from blank. The other students are learning so much from him. We need to take a look at our policy concerning blank. It is not very inclusive. Let's talk about ways we might change it. Here are some ways that you can create a welcoming environment in your classroom. First, you must establish high expectations for all of your students, every single one of them. Provide books, magazines, and materials in the students' native language. Display maps, flags, and other symbols from students' home countries. Decorate the room with other culturally representative items. Celebrate students' various cultural holidays, like Hispanic Heritage Month, going on for the next 4 weeks. Incorporate multiculturalism and diversity into your lessons. Attend local cultural events in students' neighborhoods or churches. Eat at locally owned family restaurants. Have students create family histories. Create and post a class motto, chant, or goals. For other ideas, feel free to check out Vanessa and Bailey's classroom, where they have created an opportunity to highlight students' cultural backgrounds. Tyler Lingle also has banners of international flags in his classroom, and students are represented in groups by civilizations connected to the content they're currently learning. At Enlace, every morning, we recite in Lakesh. It's part of our school culture to build a caring community for the bilingual students that we serve. En Lakesh, tú eres mi otro yo. You are my other me. Si te hago daño a ti, if I do harm to you, me hago daño a mí mismo. I do harm to myself. Si te amo y respeto, if I love and respect you, me amo y respeto yo. I love and respect myself. Students must know that you support them 100% and that you won't give up on them. This attitude or mindset is essential for all students' success. Just believing all your students can learn makes a world of difference. Students will work for teachers they know and are invested in them. You can use this example to lead into creating a classroom social contract. ELs must hear, you are important. What we are learning is important. You can do it, and we will not give up on you. The Spanish translation, tú eres importante. Lo que estamos aprendiendo es importante. Tú lo puedes hacer, si se puede. No nos rendiremos. ELs can, si se puede. If you weren't prepared for the newcomers or SIFE students, you may need to adjust your classroom culture. Are students not buying into your classroom rules? Is there a lack of participation by these students? It may be time for a culture reset. First, assume all the kids in your classroom want to learn. Then use these 4 questions one at a time to begin a classroom discussion. How do you want to be treated by your peers? How do you think your peers want to be treated by you? How do you want to be treated by the teacher? How do you think your teacher wants to be treated by you? Make sure students understand the question and provide scaffolds like word banks and sentence stems to help facilitate the collaboration. Students should first talk with a partner, then with someone on the other side of the room, and finally with a third person. While discussing, they should jot down the responses they receive. Talk right. Even if students are discussing in their first language, they should write to the best of their abilities what their partners have shared. This will allow you to begin facilitating a whole class discussion on developing norms for the classroom. Students should understand the term norms, and all students must agree on them. Instead of using norms that you have created, this allows students to buy into norms that they have created. They take ownership in them. Your responsibility is to ensure that the norms aren't against school policy or that they can't be enforced. You, the teacher, acts as a facilitator or mediator as they create classroom norms. Here are some examples of social contracts created with newcomer and SIFE students across the country. Thank you to these teachers for sharing. This week's challenge is to help you let things go that are out of your control. This will make it easier for you to meet the needs of your students by narrowing the focus to things that you can control. It sets you up with a can-do mindset. While Pathways to Greatness suggests discussing in a group, I think this is also feasible to do individually. Think of challenges that you are currently having with your EL students. Place them in a column of things you do have control over and things you don't have control over. Once you have distinguished your challenges to one of the columns, just cross out the things you don't have control over column. Currently, there is nothing you could do alone to face those challenges. Instead, look at the challenges that you do have control over and rank them 1 to 5. 5 being very effective at meeting the challenge, 1 not at all effective at meeting the challenge. Then, those challenges on the lower end, begin brainstorming how you can meet them effectively. Here are some examples that I have written in the context of my role. Things I can control. Technology in hands of students to use L1. I have 22 Title III netbooks, which students are literate in their first language and will benefit from their use. EL coach. I've increased my coaching with deans to twice a month instead of once a month and communicated with teachers to reach out for individual coaching. Things I don't have control over. I don't have the funds to hire another EL teacher. I can't control the educational level of children when they arrive in our classrooms, but I can support the teachers. That is just an example of how to do this week's challenge of Let It Go. Thanks for tuning in. On the next episode, we'll review how to use the We to Can Do descriptors with your content instruction. Best of luck with your Let It Go challenge. See you soon.